What's up everyone, it's Caddy with MoneyVest. So markets hitting a new all-time high with the NASDAQ crossing over 18,000 points and the S&P 500 of course a little bit over 5,500, 5,537 to be precise, and NVDA and of course Tesla doing incredibly well. Tesla with another 5-6% day, trading almost as much as $250, and NVIDIA also grabbing a lot of liquidity away from other parts of the market and pushing higher on the day as well. So hope you all enjoy this video. It's going to be a quick update on where we are because we do have the unemployment numbers coming out later this week on Friday, and tomorrow the markets are of course closed in observance of 4th of July. So very happy independence to everyone in the US. It's again a very memorable day for the US, and hope you all enjoy this time with your friends and your family and you relax a little bit, get some sunshine, go out, do some outdoor activities. So again, take some time off from the screens, enjoy this amazing day. And in observance of 4th of July, we are offering a 60% discount on all of our courses. So the coupon code is July 4. You can access fundamental analysis, technical analysis, options, and psychology of investing and money. Everything is going to be 60% off, including the bundles. And the coupon code July 4 expires after tomorrow midnight. So link's going to be down below if you want to take advantage of that. Maybe you want to gift this course to somebody else in your family or friend group. This is the time. This is the biggest sale that we've ever had. And also in less than 5 days, we're going to be doing a beta launch for our MoneyVest platform. And I kid you not, this is probably going to be one of the most important platforms you've ever utilized for your fundamental analysis, because we're going to be providing you with a lot of analysis, a lot of MoneyVest metrics, fundamental analysis, breakdowns of individual charts. You can plot a lot of things on the platform. So you can come over here, do some fundamental charting for whatever stock, over 17,000 stocks it is that you want to analyze. And again, take a look at analyst estimates as well, figure out what the forecasted earnings and revenue expectations are. Then of course use our calculators to plot for discounted cash flow and discounted earnings multiple models as well. So link's going to be down below if you want to take advantage of this. 51% discount on this MoneyVest beta, and again 60% off for the courses as well. So we'd love to have you on board. If you have any questions, please let me know. So first things first, S&P 500 of course at over 5,500, the NASDAQ closing in at just over 18,180. The Dow Jones struggled a little bit here on the day. So if you come over to take a look at the heat map for where we are. Before we get started, I do want to point out that the ADP numbers came out. We came out around 150,000 jobs added in the month of June versus the consensus of 161,000. So we came in a little bit shy of what the expectations were. And if you take a look at the forecasted employment situation for this Friday, since it's the first Friday of the month of July, so we're going to get the report for the previous month, which is June, 189,000 jobs added. That's the consensus, with the unemployment rate, very important number, staying steady at 4% for the economy, for the U.S. economy, with 160,000 in private payrolls, 10,000 in manufacturing payrolls, and we got the participation rate at over 62%. Average hourly earnings at 0.3%, and average hourly earnings year over year sitting at 3.9% consensus month of June. And again, we know that if that number continues to go higher, it's going to reduce the probability of a rate hike or keeping rates higher for longer, and increase the probability of a potential rate cut, which obviously the market is very much looking forward to, which is also going to increase the probability for this market rally to continue, right? So that bullish momentum to carry forward. Now coming over to some of the other catalysts. Now this is something that is absolutely crazy, and I really don't want anyone to fall for this, because this is what is wrong with the market when everything is so bullish. Euphoria, optimism takes over to a point where even analysts that are getting paid so much money are coming out with this type of analysis. Is it too late to buy NVIDIA? Former Morgan Stanley strategist says buy high and sell higher. A $10,000 investment in NVIDIA when it first went public in 1999 would be worth over $30 million today. So we know that NVIDIA has produced incredible returns. But Mark Newton, a former Morgan Stanley technical strategist and vice president of the current global head of technical strategy research at Fundstrat, and don't get me wrong, we know that Fundstrat with Tom Lee are extremely bullish almost every time, but his analysis, or his investors usually aim to buy low and sell high, but his analysis is almost always to buy high and sell higher school of thought, because low performing stocks can take a while to grow, and it's hard to tell if you've timed the investment well. that's where a lot of investors go wrong. With buy high and sell higher strategy, the stock proves that it can perform and making it a safer bet. Sometimes when the horse gets out of the run or out of the barn, you have to go chase it because it might not come back. And that to me is kind of like the opposite of the fundamentals of value investing and more about growth investing. This is more about momentum trading. I think that's really what he's getting at. It's very much to do with momentum trading, where you're seeing the momentum of a stock and you're trading it, and that's the idea of buying high and selling higher, but it has little to no regard of fundamental valuations and price action and understanding of, valuation in the sense that buy high and sell higher is very much to do with a greater fool's theory, that somebody along the line will come around and pay you a much higher price than what you bought it for. And that only goes on up until a certain point. Eventually things start to go crazy and completely out of context, and then of course everything comes crashing down. So this, yes, it may sound good in theory, but this is mostly a momentum trading strategy which cannot be applied in fundamental investing, because if your idea of investing in stocks is to buy high and sell higher, and that's the idea that you're going off of with, then again, I'm sorry, you're really just trading on momentum and with little to no regard of the valuation or the fundamentals of the company itself. So, NVIDIA disclosed that he owns NVIDIA stock, and that two factors, risk tolerance and time frame, matter the most when considering to buy it. So again, very, very important stuff that we have to keep in mind, that fundamental investing has a lot to do with over 1+ year time horizons. So unless you're planning to hold a stock for more than a year, or at least minimum 3 years to 5, 7, 10 years out, this is mostly going to be considered trading if you're doing it for less than a year, right? So whether it's short-term trading, whether it's day trading, swing trading, position trading, whatever it might be, it would still be considered as a trade if it's held for less than a year. So if you're looking for, good, solid companies, right, I'd be looking at investing styles of more than 3, 5, 7 years. But if you're looking at catching that momentum to buy high and sell higher, then again, just make sure that you understand the risks involved with this type of momentum trading. So just want to be very clear with that. Now, where does the U.S. economy stands halfway through 2024? So unemployment data rose up to 4% back in May, and that was down from 3.7%. So we did see a bit of an increase on a month-over-month basis. And of course, the 3-month average job growth also increased to 249,000 jobs. That's up from 212,000. And the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, so personal consumption expenditure, or PCE, also rose by 3.3% in the first 5 months, from 2.2% over the final 5 months of 2023. So we have seen a bit of an increase, and that's obviously the reason why the Federal Reserve don't has as much confidence, or hasn't gotten that greater confidence as what they hoped for. And the Federal Reserve's target interest rate, of course, unchanged between 5.25% and 5.5%, and the S&P 500 is up 15% on a year-to-date basis, and the 10-year treasuries climbed from 3.87 to 4.48%. So that's where we are with the entire market at the moment, with volatility, of course, continuing to be really, really low, trading down to as low as 12 at the moment, which again puts us to a very, very extreme level for the VIX. If you come over to this chart and come over to volatility summary, again, we are now once again rare at less than 10 percentile for the VIX, which begs the question, when is going to be that next spike, and when's it going to be that resulting in a potential pullback in the S&P or the NASDAQ. But again, nonetheless, we continue to trade at an all-time high, with the S&P here breaking records at over 0.5% green on the back of Tesla and NVIDIA, and pushing up to 55.37 to a new all-time high. So congratulations. And NASDAQ here pushing up to over 18,000 with a huge breakout beyond this resistance of 17.9 to a new all-time high as well. So this has been nothing but a roaring bull market for the entire market. And of course, we got Ether starting to roll over a little bit back down to 3,300, and Bitcoin also trading now back down to that support inside this green rectangle as well. So we really marked very critical areas of support and resistance, or demand and supply, for Bitcoin and Ether as well. And Bitcoin here really consolidating sideways with, like I said, that support sitting at just sub 60,000, all the way down to as low as sub $50,000. And of course, for Ether, as we discussed earlier, starting to break down a little bit, and that next target and that support is going to be down at under 2,900 for Ether as well. Coming over to some of these stocks. So starting with Tesla, this right here was the entire sort of analysis in one of my previous videos, a little bit of that lower high and lower low pattern, starting to see a huge breakout from this lower high. And the next target for Tesla is going to be as much as $267 to $270 per share. So those right there are going to be a few levels to watch all the way up here. So this right here, very, very important level to watch for Tesla now moving forward, this because that's exactly where we got rejected back in December of 2023. So beginning of pretty much the end of last year, beginning of this year, we were in and around those levels at 270, and that's where we got rejected and then sold off all in the 140s here. So that was a pretty steep sell-off of almost 48%, and now we're coming back up to retest some of those levels. Right now, 247, very strong move to the upside of almost 7%, but that would be that next target at $270 per share. NVIDIA, on the other hand, consolidating sideways. So we talked about NVIDIA in one of our previous videos as well, and how it's consolidating sideways for the most part. And of course, the next resistance, or pretty much the target, sits at all-time high. That's going to be all the way up here at 140. And we got some reasonable support for NVIDIA sitting at 117. So this right here is going to be that support level to keep in mind for NVIDIA. And by the way, I actually did sell quite a few calls on Tesla today. Strike prices ranging anywhere from 295 to as much as I believe 350s, 1 month to about a month and a half out. Decent premiums. To me, it was kind of like free money because the probability for profit is very, very high, considering that Tesla in, let's say, 30 to 45 days out, chances of it getting up to 300 to 350 are quite slim. Not saying that it's not possible. It certainly could get up to those levels. And even if it does, that would be a huge profit, considering that Tesla is, one of my biggest positions. So at $300 and $350 to as much as 400, that would be a very, very good price point where I can start to look to sort of de-risk a little bit or get rid of at least some exposure into Tesla, because it will now then become a very, very big position for my entire position portfolio. So I wouldn't mind getting rid of some of that stock here. So setting some calls for NVIDIA here. Like I said, support level sitting roughly at 117 to as much as $140. Now coming back over to some of the Magnificent Seven, so FANG stocks, Apple here also new all-time high, market cap now sitting at just under $3.4 trillion at over $221. So very, very nice move back up. Support level at $206 in the near term. So that's going to be the level to keep in mind. I don't believe that has been a resistance ever for Apple, but that is going to be that support level to keep in mind. New all-time high, very, very strong breakout. Amazon continues to struggle at around $200. So $200 is not really able to successfully break out. So 52-week high also at $200, but we did achieve our 4K Friday goal because it did finally hit $200, and on a pre-split basis, that is indeed $4,000 per share for Amazon. So resistance is going to stay up roughly at $200, and I guess support roughly sitting at about $188 for Amazon. Talking a little bit about Meta now. So Meta on the day also slightly down, basically flat for the most part. It has seen a very nice recovery, but it's now coming back up to its resistance and that area of supply for Meta, and support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle between 455 and 475 for Meta, and a huge area of demand, a huge area of supply and resistance between 520 and 530 for the company. Talking about Netflix, and Netflix here also consolidating sideways in a range. Support level is going to be staying put over here, sitting roughly at 652, and resistance all the way up to $689 to $700 a share for Netflix. A lot of consolidation, as you can see. So we're just trading sideways. So this right here has been a resistance. This right here is going to be a bit of a support. So a little bit of that ascending sort of line, sort of like a symmetrical triangle at the moment, because we've got higher lows, we've got lower highs as well. So we got an ascending high and a descending low, and that of course, ascending low and a descending high, and that's of course causing a symmetrical triangle, causing a lot of consolidation sideways and a potential breakout with a resistance and targets up to $700 for Netflix. Talking about Google now, and Google here continues to move higher to also a new all-time high. Market cap for Google sitting at over $2.3 trillion, and support level of course going to stay put down to $179 to $180 for Google. Again, pushing higher very nicely to new all-time highs. Just got to be super careful with a lot of these companies, a lot of these stocks, as the momentum is good, momentum strong, but it doesn't take a lot of time to turn things around, and of course for a lot of these companies to start rolling over. Speaking of, Microsoft also new all-time high, 460, and market cap over 3.4 trillion. So it's all-time highs across the board for a lot of companies. Just continues to push higher. RSI, MACD also overbought. So again, caution is important. Caution is necessary at these levels. What I'm really doing is just enjoying the rallies, enjoying the momentum, taking advantage of selling calls because of that momentum, selling way out of the money calls so that it's free money for me, and of course letting the stocks run as high as they want to, and keeping some dry powder ready and decide to deploy more capital, deploy more cash if the opportunity presents itself. And finally, a few more stocks here, talking about advanced micro devices, lots of consolidation. Support level is going to stay roughly at 151. Resistance and targets all the way up to 182 for AMD. PayPal, on the other hand, also moving higher, starting to see a little bit of that rebound from that support that we talked about in and around that $57-$50 per share level. And resistance is going to stay put roughly at around $60, $62. I'm not sure why this chart is not loading up. There we go. So $65 is going to be that resistance, and we're starting to see a very nice validation of this support and a bit of a bounce back higher from those levels. RSI MACD also suggesting for a very nice reversal with a huge candle coming in, a yellow candle suggesting for bankers and whales starting to buy this stock once again. So there is potential for PayPal to get up to $65 to $68 in the future. Finally, if we come over to Endphase, and Endphase here also moving higher a little bit over 3.5%, but of course breaking down from that support, so we're going to go ahead and turn this level back into a resistance for Endphase, and that right there is going to be a level to keep in mind as a resistance again, and support level very tight, sitting at $92 a share for this company. Last but not least, let's quickly go over to the MoneyVest index. So we are at 3.69, so still nowhere near close to the low levels of 3 or sub 3, the levels that we like to see. But again, until we get down to that level, just sitting back, enjoying these gains, enjoying these rallies. And as soon as the markets are giving us even the slightest of opportunities, I'll be ready to deploy more capital and more cash back into the market to take advantage of those better risk-reward ratios. So hope you all enjoyed this video and a complete update on the market. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, do drop a like, and also check out the links down below if you are interested in our beta launch for the MoneyVest platform. Again, we've put a lot of time and effort and energy and resources into this platform, and I'm sure it's going to be very, very helpful for everyone who wants to do more deep dives into fundamental analysis into individual stocks, because there's a lot of really interesting data and metrics and visuals and tools and features that you can use to make better and more confident investment decisions. So link's gonna be down below if you want to join. 51% discount right now. And also don't forget, all the courses are 60% off in observance of 4th of July. Coupon code July 4. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.